Well, Frazer, we go again Saturday night, AO Arena, an arena you're familiar with actually. You're boxing there a lot as a professional, but a change of opponent. Your original opponent was a well-known one, Rydell Booker. He'd been in with a lot of good people, good experience. Unfortunately, that's fell through. I want to talk about him in a minute, but let's talk about your new opponent. Can you tell us a little bit about him and about the change of opponent and how it is?
Yeah, Bogdan Dinu, he's one of them guys that I first came across him a few years ago, sparring partner for AJ. AJ, used to go through the sparring partners, they used to take some heavy shots, so he'd have to get a lot of them in. So if he wasn't in the ring, I'd have a chat with him around the ring, watching the sparring, seen him in a few camps. Good guy, always held a good account of himself. He's been in the ring with some good names. I think, the one that people will recognise the most is he boxed Daniel Dubois after the Joyce defeat. He's recently been in with, a few years ago, Pulev.
Jamal
Miller. So, these are people that everyone knows, and it's a little bit better for everyone for me to fight someone who people know rather than some guy whose name we can't pronounce and no one's ever seen him. So at least he's familiar with the people, and people know.
How do you make those adjustments so late on or so close to a fight now? I know you've got an extensive amateur career and you've achieved so much, but how do you make those adjustments, or is that something you're used to with the amateurs?
I think it's about, I can remember through the amateurs, I was always told to be my own coach in terms of if some things change on the spot, you've got to think on the spot and change on the spot. Now, that's the same here, as soon as the opponent changed, I didn't know who it was. I was a blank canvas. Then as soon as they said the guy, a little bit of how he boxes came to me, and I just give myself 3 simple things which I think will be good and help me beat this guy. I haven't don't delve too deep into it because I don't know what he's going to bring. I don't know what style he's going to bring. But I know if I do my fundamentals right, then I'll be in a good position.
You're one of our most decorated amateurs. We were talking about that off air. What you've achieved as an amateur is quite incredible. You was around for a long time as an amateur as well. So adapting to different styles would not be difficult for you because like entering championships, you don't know who you're fighting from one day to the next. And one day you could be fighting a brawler, next day a rangy boxer. So you're comfortable with that?
Yeah, I've done that many times, Spencer. I've gone from fighting a southpaw that don't want to engage to an orthodox fighter that's a lot smaller than me, winging big right hands over the top, to someone that has an extremely high work rate, to people that just want to look for a big shot. So I've been mixing them all, and I think people get sick about talking about my amateur career, but at the end of the day is I don't think there's probably a handful of professionals in this country that didn't try to do what I did and failed, and I know for a fact the majority of professionals in this country would do anything to have my trophy cabinet because it means a lot and it's important.
Yeah, listen, I want to talk about other guys now that are sort of future opponents of yours, guys that you all know, like people like Fabio Wardley, who's won the British title now and stuff like that, and they're sort of saying things, and do you feel like you're getting an injustice for where you're at right now? You're a novice pro. Yeah. Let's make this right. You're 5-0 now with 4 KOs, novice pro. But do you feel that people, even your fellow fighters, expect too much from you at an early stage?
Do you know what? I half get it because a lot of them have had more fights than me, and they're probably looking at me like people. Listen, the spot everyone said, "Oh, he's the Olympian."
Do you think they feel threatened?
They must do. That's why my name gets mentioned with him. And to be fair, in terms of Fabio, this guy, me and him, we get spoke about quite a lot. And I always say this: it's not about Fabio. It's about what he's got. As a person, he's a good guy. After he won the British title, it was upstairs, the Hilton Wembley. After the show, went and brought him a drink and said, "You know what? Well done, congratulations." Knowing that in the future we're going to fight each other, but it's all respect. But what he's got, I won. And that's the cruel reality of boxing. Everyone wants to be number one. Whether in the minute that's in this country, I want to be number 1, British champion. So, and he's the man that's got it. So, like I say, it's not personal, but it could become that because there's a bit of needle there. He's a big guy. I'm a big guy. He's proud. I'm proud. He thinks he'll knock me out. I know I'll knock him out. It's that simple.
Friendship aside, it becomes a business, don't it?
Business.
And that's basically where we're at. But we've talked, many times about various other fighters, that are at the top of the tree that are friends, but they recognise that, you know, business is business and we can be friends after, and that's basically where we're at. But so you're now 5-0. You had an extensive amateur career, like I say, World Boxing Series, which is like professional boxing anyway, no head guards and small gloves. Do you feel, Frazer, that the next 12 months, your roadmap, you're going to be there, you're going to be boxing for these titles, British titles, they're within your sights. Do you think that that's a reality?
It is a reality, but once again, Spencer, my feet are firmly on the floor. The work has to be done at the gym. You know that yourself, you know, we're boxing people and we're realists. I could sit here and talk it all day. The work has to be done in the gym. The learning has to be done in the gym. The right experience, the right training sessions, the right sparring partners, traveling around to different gyms. That has to be done, because I could talk about it all day. We can all talk about it, but you've got to do the work. And I assure myself, I can look myself in the mirror and be proud and say, you know what, I'm doing all the right things. We can always get better. We can always improve. But I love to talk about it, and I know where I should be. But first of all, it's about doing the business Saturday night. And, you know, I've never once gone into a fight thinking, you know, oh, I want to look spectacular. But I think this time, the better the opponent, I think I'm going to get a chance to show my skill. I really do.
Listen, Frazer, you've been around, as I say, a long time, and you've sparred the best. You've sparred the elite, the number ones, the Anthony Joshuas of the world, etc. You've sparred all the best heavyweights. How do you think you fared with that, and do you think that you could reach those heights moving forward? Did you take confidence from that?
Yeah, I mean, let's say just British guys, Joe Joyce, Anthony Joshua, hundreds of rounds, probably thousands.
Joyce, you boxed, what, 4 times as an amateur?
4 times, yeah. You know what I mean? And Joe was my bogeyman in the amateurs, and you know what, one day, maybe if the stars align, I can have the opportunity to get that back.
Does that get your juices flowing though?
Of course it does.
You know what I mean?
I'm a proud man, Spencer, and you know, for me to sit here and hear them words come out your mouth, you boxed him 4 times. 4 times I boxed him, 4 times I never had my hand raised. That's never, and I've boxed people 3 or 4 times as well. I've won some, I've lost some. That's never happened to me apart from Joe Joyce.
Listen, when I mention that name, mate, I see a little change in your face, you know what I mean? I see the red mist come over, mate. It made me a little bit nervous, if I'm honest.
He beat me in two ABA finals, Spencer. Like, you know, as an amateur, to be beat in the senior elite final, it was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
I can remember the feeling at the time. I can remember him qualifying for the Olympic Games and me sat there having to watch, knowing that's my 4 years of work down the drain, gone, finished.
And you want that back as a pro?
You know what, we'd run it back, and I'm telling you now, it'd be a better fight than any heavyweight fight you've seen for a long time.
Listen, the future looks bright for you right now. I want to talk about Saturday night. Give me a prediction. How's it going to go?
You know, we can beat around the bush and say that, yeah, I just want to win. No, the reality is now, people are getting my juices flowing. People are starting to get up my back a bit. Do you know what I mean? So I want to go in there and I want to take a bit of frustration out on this guy.
Yeah.
I want to do it in the right way, because, like I say this all the time, anyone can go in there and be a big heavyweight and throw big bombs. Who can box?
Why do you think that people don't give you the respect that you deserve? If you look at your resume and your record and what you're doing even as a pro, I mean, why do they want you to run before you can walk? And why do you think maybe you don't get the respect that you deserve right now?
People talk about my age and say, he needs to move fast. He needs to move fast. And listen, once upon a time, if I was 31 and it was in 1995, it might be game over. But we're not, we're in 2023. 31-year-olds now are different to 31-year-olds 20 years ago. We have great nutritionists. We have, physiotherapists that we work with like every week. Strength and conditioning guys. We're built to last longer. I feel like I'm a late developer and I've come into my prime now, and I'm literally getting better. I'm definitely getting better. My numbers show I'm getting stronger. My numbers show I'm getting fitter. And I'm definitely more rounded as a pro. So that's why people want to give me a little bit of stick. And also, because I can have a conversation with you and I can talk about boxing, and I've been given a lot of opportunities by Boxer and Sky to go and do that, like, co-commentary and stuff like that, people just, I don't know, I think people think, oh, this guy just does all the talking. But if you had the opportunity, like I've got, to go and speak about something you love on a Saturday night, and be at a boxing show that you love on a Saturday night, you're telling me you turn it down?
Of course.
No one would. I'm living the dream. I'm literally living the dream, and I've worked for this for so long. From a schoolboy to a senior to an Olympian to turning pro, I had this planned. Yeah, it's a little bit later than I expected, but I'm telling you now, people would give a left arm to be in my shoes, and I am going to work hard to get to where I want to go.
People that judge Frazer Clarke for his age, listen to this. Badu Jack, 40 years of age, the oldest ever cruiserweight champion. I'll leave it right there. Fraze, good luck on Saturday night.
Cheers, Spence.